All right, everyone. All right. Again, good afternoon. This is Stephen Brown with LG Electronics. I am the product marketing manager for our commercial display side, and I want to welcome you all to our LG Solutions Spotlight webinar series. Today I have with me my partner, colleague, Danik Inselman. He is the LG Channel Sales Manager on the IT commercial side of our business. And today we are both going to be talking with you about our IT monitor solution in the Zero Client solution, and also our digital signage solution in the UH5B. We are going to be partnering up and delivering this information to you, but we are going to be asking you to do us one favor, if you could. We would like this to be as engaging as possible. So, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask that question, or if we ask you a question, please go ahead and chime back with an answer on what you think that might be, and this will be more enjoyable this way for all of us involved. Without further ado, we will go ahead and get started, as we are going to have a jam-packed session with about going to 30 to 40 minutes, but we will try to get it closer to 30 as possible. So let's take a look at our agenda for today. So here's our agenda. First, we'll talk about why LG Electronics and why choose LG in the first place. What makes us different? We'll talk about that. And then we'll dive into our IT monitor solution and our Zero Client solution. From there, we'll move on to our digital signage solution in the UH5B. So that is a large format display. And then we'll wrap it all up and give you some closing remarks, and then you'll be on your way to finish up the rest of your day. So let's go ahead and get started. All right. So here we find a great range of all of the different verticals that we participate in, from retail, QSR, government, transportation, education, and also corporate. Now, with the solutions that we're talking about today, the UH5B, which is the digital signage solution, we recommend that it would be a great fit into the retail, corporate, and transportation space. Now, as far as the Zero Client, we feel that this will be a great fit into corporate and government, education, and anywhere that you need to be connected on via cloud. But those are the recommended verticals, and Danik and myself will talk a little bit more about that. Okay, now we move on into our IPS technology. Now, this IPS technology, this is what makes us different from the bunch. This makes us different from the rest of everyone out there, as there's many different manufacturers out there, and this does it for us. This makes us stand apart, and with this, the advantage that you have is one of them that is always first to come to mind with most of our customers and those that sell our products is the super wide viewing angle. With our IPS technology, you are able to have super wide viewing angles up to 178 degrees. Now, as far as on the digital signage side of the house, this is very important, because digital signage is all about delivering a message. And with a super wide viewing angle, that means that you are having more time delivering that message, conveying that message off to that customer that's walking by, or the people that are driving by. They're going to be able to have more time to receive that message because of the super wide viewing angles, right? That's pretty common sense there. But it's not only that, but the great color accuracy with it, the vivid picture quality that the IPS delivers off of the panel is what makes this such a dynamic viewing experience. And also the panel being a stable panel. You can actually knock up against our screen and you will not have any type of image distortion whatsoever. Now, of course, we feel good about our IPS technology, and yeah, you can say we're a little bit biased on it, but the great thing is that you have these lead brand leaders that also have taken a part of our IPS technology. So they have purchased the rights to sell our IPS technology within their product. And it's, you know, again, it's very flattering for us here at LG when you're having these brand names, you know, using your product. And of course, we have it in all of our products. From our large format displays, we have it in about 99% of all of our large format, I would say 97%, excuse me, of our large format displays. And then in our smartphones, our higher-end smartphones, you will find the IPS technology. As well on our IT monitors, you will find in about 75% of our IT monitors, and Danik will share more about that within our Zero Client monitors. Okay, well, with that all being said, I am going to go ahead and hand the ball off to Danik, and he's going to run with it and score a touchdown. Go ahead, Danik, take it away.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Just wanted to welcome you to this webinar, and I'm going to go over some of the points on our desktop virtualization line, our V series. So I'm going to start off explaining what a zero client is for everybody out there. I'm going to assume that you don't have any prior experience with desktop virtualization, but to understand a zero client, I'll have to tell you about what you're most commonly interfacing with, which is a PC or a thick client. Now, a PC has a hard drive, it has memory on it, it has sometimes video cards, but more importantly, it has an operating system. Most people are using Windows or Mac OS. A zero client is exactly the opposite. There's no hard drive, there should be no OS, and it connects to a service in the cloud, either self-hosted or a subscription service like Amazon Web Services, to get your desktop from the cloud. Now, it's going to seem or look to the end user almost identical because it is going to bring up typically a Windows session, but the location of it is completely different. So instead of a large ugly box on your desktop, it actually pulls it from a server in the cloud. A thin client is kind of in between the two, and I'll explain a little bit later why you want to avoid a thin client. So this is a good quote from one of our partners. It says, with PC over IP zero clients, we're never scrambling to repair someone's computer. Anybody in education is going to second that, especially when you've got a large rollout and things just aren't going right. There is no hard drive, no moving parts in a zero client, and that's no repairs. Let's take the slide there. So this is LG's zero client. Now, why is LG in the desktop virtualization business? Well, we offer the traditional box type, similar to some of our largest competitors. They all have one, but where we shine and where we differ is we've got the best integrated all-in-one solution. So instead of a desktop box or a PC on your desktop, it's actually embedded in the monitor. So you plug in your Cat5 cable, your power, your keyboard, and your mouse directly to the monitor, and it leaves your desktop clean and gives you a lot of your workspace back. All of our zero clients use Terra 2 chips, which is the latest technology from Teradici, and we'll go on to the next slide. Our all-in-one supports 6 USB, 4 in the back and 2 on the side. Supports a secondary monitor, so you can use it as a dual monitor setup using DVI out. We have speakers built in, and like I said, it's an all-in-one to go on your desktop, and you don't need anything additional other than your keyboard and your mouse and a couple of connections. IPS panels in our 23 and 24-inch displays, that is the top of the line, just under OLED. But there is no desktop OLED monitors yet, but we're going to cross our fingers and hopefully soon. Now, this is a slide that shows why you don't want a thin client. For anybody who's doing graphic intensive or high compute kind of computing, you're going to want a high refresh rate, high frames per second. Thin clients have a wide range depending on what operating system you're running them on. To make a long story short, whether you're repurposing a PC or using a standard thin client, you're typically going to see somewhere between 2 and, say, 14 frames per second with a zero client, a dedicated zero client, because it only has one function, really. You're going to get up to 47 frames per second. This means your AutoCAD, your medical imaging, everything else is going to run way faster. Power and cooling. Because there's no hard drive, there's no moving parts, you don't have a power-hungry video card on there, you don't have a lot of the unnecessary stuff from a PC, you're going to save a lot in electricity. It goes from typically about 150 watts down to less than 30 in most cases. High level of security and management. So there is nothing on your local device. You could pretty much walk out with one of those and not have any customer data, any sensitive information, because it's all stored in the cloud. And it's also the reason why federal government and medical institutions and everybody else loves zero client, and particularly LG zero client. This slide shows a lot of the typical components in a PC. Now, you don't have to understand any of this. You just see the number of components. And the next slide shows how many of them are replaced with the Performance PCoIP card that's on the motherboard or on the board inside our zero client. You're eliminating a lot of these power-hungry components. So who wants or who uses zero clients? So healthcare, a couple of years ago, or about 7 or 8 years ago, federal government mandated a minimum level of data security for all their customers. And so a lot of those guys are digitizing all of their records. In that, now they're passing along information digitally. You see doctors, instead of with a pad and a pen, are walking around with a tablet or a PC or a laptop. And the issue is, if a customer or a patient walks out with any of those devices, now they have access to all the other patient's information, which I don't know about you guys, I'm not comfortable with. Zero client, because it stores nothing locally, prevents people from being able to take that information. Education is huge. A lot of the IT staff at secondary education or colleges love the fact that you can deploy 500 of these machines and basically just have to take them out of the box. You don't have to load software. You don't have to do antivirus. You don't have to lock it down. Plug and play. Government, for the same reason healthcare likes it, government also has strict guidelines on data security. So they have all their encryption standards, which by nature, Performance chipsets all cover. Their encryption, I think it's FIPS32. I should know that, but if you have any specific questions, reach out to me during or after the presentation. I'll get you the exact information, but almost every federal standard we meet. Financial services. So I don't know how many hundreds of thousands or millions of people have had their accounts stolen or hacked. I know myself, I've been hacked or had my identity stolen 2 times at least, probably 3. And all of that, or one of them was because of a lost laptop. But all of this could have been prevented. So financial industries, banks, lenders, all those people are very much in need of a very secure solution. Media and entertainment and manufacturing Both those guys I would lump together just because they have a lot of product data, a lot of proprietary information that they're computing or storing, and nobody wants that out in the public. Let's say you're developing a film or you're creating the next gen of sports cars or whatever it is. That's all private information that you don't want public. So why LG Zero Client? Increased security level, like I mentioned before. There's no hard drive, no local data. There's nothing to steal. If they walk off one of the devices, they get the device itself. It might cost you a few $100s, but it sure beats the millions or billions in penalties or whatever else from losing data. Reduced total cost of ownership. So power is one thing you're going to save, but over the long run, it's management costs. You're not having an IT person go from machine to machine to maintain these. You can do them all centrally, locally with a console management software. The display, excellent. So everybody knows LG makes the best displays in the industry. Like Stephen said earlier, a lot of our competitors have actually licensed our IPS technology. That's how good it is. And service and maintenance. We are one of the very few people that has a U.S. service center based in Alabama. Typically, you're going to get an email or a phone response right away. We get you taken care of. So that's pretty much it. If anybody has any questions, feel free to raise your hand or type in a message.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Danik, for walking us through that. Again, I've learned a lot every time that you take us through that. I'm always learning something. What we'll do now, we will open up the lines and see if there's any questions at all that you may have for Danik on the LG Zero Client solution. You can ask a question through the chat box. You can do it also by raising your hand. And I do have one question for you, Danik. So the question is, any plans to support PoE on the Zero Client?
So I apologize. That is something that I should have brought up. We do support UPoE, which is 60 watts. However, we currently don't sell the adapter for it. So there's some third-party solutions. Let me know how we can get in touch with this individual, and I can share some of that offline.
All right. I do have their information here, and we'll make sure that we take care of that. Also, a question came in, are we going to be able to share the slides? Yes, we will be able to do that. That will be by request only. We don't like to bombard everyone with all of this information. So if you just simply email us afterwards, we will be more than happy to send you out that deck. Another question, that's the same one. And actually for you, Danik, and I know the answer, but I will toss it to you. Are these monitors PAA compliant?
PoE, is that what you said?
TAA compliant. Are these Zero Client?
Yes. Our Zero Client lineup is, I think they're typically made in Mexico, so they are TAA compliant.
Excellent. That is good to know. Well, Danik, thank you for all that information. And if there's any other questions for Danik, please go ahead and write them down. And or you can go ahead and send them to the chat box right now, and we will answer them in our next little break to answer questions. Thank you so much. And also remember, you can also raise your virtual hand, and we will go ahead and ask you that question or answer your question. Okay, so moving right along to the UH5B. Now, the UH5B is the digital signage solution, as I mentioned, and we're going to be talking about some of these key features that you see here on the screen, from the panel of having the M+ technology, from the hardware, having the main chipset being the LM15U platform. Then we also will be talking about the resolution of it being a 4K Ultra HD monitor. And then also the platform, having it being a webos-based platform, and that is our webos 2.0. And then also talking about the different sizes, which we go from 49, 55, and also 65. All right, so let's start off with the name. Yeah, have you ever sat and thought like, hey, you know, LG, love your product, but I've never been able to figure out why exactly do you have the names that you have? Well, there is a method to all the madness. And so the reason why we have all the different crazy names is this right here. So as you take a look at the screen, you will see that we have it laid out on the different acronyms, what they stand for. So starting off with the 1 here in the U. So that matches right up to it being UHD, so ultra high definition 4K. That's what that U stands for. Moving on to the next item, the next column, so that's the H. That means it's high end. H standing for high end, meaning it's one of our premium models. Next, with the 5. The 5 is actually calling out the amount of nits in the actual monitor. In this case, it is 500 nits. Now, I will say in some few cases, there will be an instance that we will have it saying 5 being, you know, part of the model number, but the nits will actually be 450. And so that would be an instance that we're rounding up, and that's why we put the 5. And last but certainly not least, the B. The B stands for the actual year that it has been launched. So in this case, this UH5B was launched this year. It was actually launched last month in October, so that is 2015. Meaning any other monitors that we launched in the year 2016 would be what? What would that letter be? So this was just seeing if you guys are paying attention to me. So that's that letter, what would potentially that letter be for the new monitors that launch next year? What do you think that letter will be, everybody? Any thoughts? Go ahead and put something in the chat box. Anything at all. What do you think? Anyone? Oh, everybody thought you guys would be with me here. Are you paying attention, or maybe I'm just not seeing you commenting? But just to move things along, I'll just go ahead and answer that. Yes, we finally did get someone to respond to that. Yes, it's C, right? Yes, we're rolling right along. So, yes, B being 2015. In 2016, it will be a C. Thank you for playing quite along right there with me, Mike. All right, so moving along here, here's a little bit of a product summary of our UH5B. So as mentioned before, this is a great solution for retail, corporate, and our transportation verticals. Of course, here at LG, we do think that all of our products are great for any of the verticals, but actually we will highly recommend it being fit into these verticals of those 3. Now, some of the other things that you should take a note about the UH5B, we will dive into some of the specific things, but calling out some other ones. This being a 24/7 rated monitor. So it does have a warranty of 3 years, and it is able to be on 24 hours and 7 days a week. So that's one of the great things about having commercial-grade monitors is being able to take care of some of those longevity hours and also in some of the hazardous conditions, which we will talk about shortly here. Now, we did talk about the size being 49, 55, and also 65, having a bezel of 11.9 millimeters on the left and right. The top being 12.4 millimeters and the bottom being 15.5. Now, you really don't care about all of that little nitpicky stuff. Maybe you do later, but let's really understand how this product will help you make some more money. That's what it's about, but really to brighten up your customers' environment so that your customers are able to have that great customer experience environment that they want. Well, how about it having ultra high definition? Yes, it does have ultra high definition, 4K, meaning it is 4 times better than 1080p. And at this point now, I think everyone understands what 4K UHD is and is embracing, and we're able to sell it now. And this is a new thing for us, having it in the multiple sizes. As we do have an 84-inch and we have a 98-inch that we've been selling for a couple of years now, but now to have some of the smaller sizes in the 65, 55, and also the 49 is a great deal for us. But now here's a really cool thing. You can have a 4K monitor, but if you don't have 4K content, 9 times out of 10, on that monitor, you will not be able to deliver 4K content. However, with actually, most of our, this is funny, I said 9 times out of 10, you will not be able to deliver 4K content. However, that 1 out of 10, well, if it is an LG product, then it is 9 times out of 10 you will be able to, because of the fact you are able to upscale, upconvert the actual 1080p content to 4K. Stephen, what exactly do you mean? Well, let me tell you. So if you take 1080p content and normally you put it on a 4K panel, you will just get 1080p back. But on our monitors, on this 4K monitor specifically, you put 1080p content via HDMI on this monitor, you will have it now being upconverted to 4K content, and that is a really great thing as the prices are coming down a little bit as you're purchasing content in 4K, but you know, so we're able to take your investment that you've already made in 1080p content and making that all into 4K. Now, one of the other great things, which we'll talk a little bit more about, is the fact that on this monitor you do have storage capacity. So we'll talk a little bit more about that shortly here. But moving right on to our next unique selling point of it having this HDBaseT, which is high efficiency video coding. So what that is all about is compressing the actual data. So making sure that you can have more data traffic coming through, but compressing it while at the same time giving you still that high Ultra HD quality. And that's what you're able to do here with it having the HDBaseT coding. All right, moving right along here. Now, as far as the power consumption, now that's the great thing with this being an M+ panel. So this is reducing the power consumption while at the same time still keeping the quality and great power still coming out of the actual monitor. So the thing is with the M+, with it being an M+ panel, you're able to have making exceptional color qualities from the reds, greens, blues, and the whites, which is usually not the case. It's usually just the RGB, red, green, and blue. And that's what you also see in conventional. But because it's an M+ panel, power consumption is low and also gives you the whites there. So all of our products are Energy Star certified rated too. So please make note of that. Now, I did mention that I would tell you about, hey, we have actual data storage capacity available on the monitor, and that's what we have here. So we first talk about it having this SoC. So the SoC stands for System on Chip. So the System on Chip means that it basically has an internal media player on the actual monitor, which means that you can plug up anything onto the monitor and it will actually play it. So you can have a USB flash drive, you plug it in, you have content on the USB flash drive, and it will play that video, or if it's a JPEG file or whatever it might be, that internal media player, the SoC, will make sure that it is giving you what you want with the output of whatever content you put on there. But now we're going to take it a step further. Now, if you wanted to actually take something and place it on the monitor, you're able to do that because it has a storage capacity of 8 gigabytes. And, of course, you know, with it being a 4K monitor and being able to do a lot of different things, well, the system is taking up 4 gigabytes of that storage capacity. However, still leaves you 4 gigabytes of free available storage capacity for you to go ahead and store content on the actual monitor. Now, if that wasn't enough for you, this also has webos. Some of you might not be too familiar with webos, but we have brought on webos. It's been just about 3 years now, so we are now on our second version of webos, because you always got to continue to improve things. So we have webos 2.0. And one of the things that webos does for us and our customers is the fact that it gives our customers a customized user experience. And I should say gives the customers a customized customer experience. So really enhancing that customer experience and being the content really coming to life on the actual monitor. As we are a panel manufacturer, you know, for small format IP monitors and the large format monitors, and of course we make other things. But in this specific example here, you know, we can do nothing without good content on our screen. So we've come up with the solution of having webos for our signage that gives our application developers, our partners, the tools and resources to create great content for our customers, because in turn, that will help us sell more of our panels. So that's what that is all about. With being able to do that, this is compatible with HTML, RSS feeds, widgets, documents, also the platforms working with Android, iOS, Windows, and so a multitude of different platforms. Now, of course, we have a great user interface. It's very intuitive and simple management that you're able to do from your smartphone device, mobile device, and hopefully it does say LG on it. Okay, now moving on, I had mentioned earlier talking about, you know, these monitors being able to be protected from hazardous environments. Well, the reason why our panels would be safe in a hazardous environment, it is because of this here, because of conformal coating. So conformal coating, it is a liquid transparent based solution that goes over our circuit board, and it will protect our circuits. It will protect them from over here from the actual corrosion. This is what happens when you have a panel in a dusty environment, let's say a subway or in an airport. You have all of this dust and chemicals that can get inside of the panel. But once it gets inside the panel, then it can corrode the circuit boards and all and such. Well, with having this conformal coating, none of that is going to happen because it is protected. Therefore, this reduces the total cost of ownership because now you do not have to place the panel in an actual enclosure. All right. Now, talking about the depth of the actual monitor, this UH5B, it does have a depth of 38.6 compared to our competitors in the same type of model, or that's closest to the size, not size, but in quality, having 69 millimeters. So, you know, we're just about half of the depth of our competitors' model. So, pretty exciting about that. So not only is it a great model, having great things on it and monitor, but also being light in weight for easy installment. Now, we would love to say, hey, here at LG, nothing ever goes wrong. You don't have to worry about any problems at all. But, you know, then I would not be telling you the truth. You know, sometimes you do have problems. But the great thing is, if there is a problem, you have a solution for it. So, well, first you have to detect what the problem is, or that you have a problem. And that's what this does. So our advanced check screen option, which is a pixel sensor that we have on the corner of our monitor that you can place on there, will let us know or let you know, whoever's managing the actual monitors out there, it will send an actual alert to the laptop, letting you know, hey, you know what, there's something wrong with, let's say, screen 1. Well, then that gives you that notice, and now you can do something about it. You can go out and run diagnostic checks on it and find out exactly what's going on. Now, on the other end of that, if you didn't have this type of setup, you wouldn't know that there's a problem at all, and now you're going to have a bad customer experience, because when you're going to find out about it, it's unfortunately going to be from a customer saying, wow, those screens in the airport or in that restaurant or wherever it may be did not look good at all. There were some problems going on. So this gives you that advance notice. All right. And now this is another feature here, and this is being able to have this being an OPS compatible monitor. And also compatible with HDBaseT. So it gives you a nice piggyback connection right on the back of the monitor. So it can easily fit that Intel external media player chip that Intel did make, the 41 pin, go right on the back of the monitor. And this gives you the compatibility, as mentioned, for an OPS kit and also working along with HDBaseT. Now, these solutions, what this helps you do, this helps you have a wired, still high-quality connection to your screens in no matter what environment you're in. But you're in a wired environment, this will give you the ability to have that wired, high-quality connection up to 100 meters via Cat5, Cat6 cable, Ethernet cable. All right, moving right along then. You see the time there, so I'm going to get you all out of here shortly. So here we have another one, System Network Management Protocol. That's what that stands for there. This goes right along with what I mentioned earlier, being able to send you an alert when things are wrong, but also being able to connect with monitors that are actually out in the field. We do have a software that is free. It is called the SuperSign Lite software. It gives you the ability to connect up to 50 different monitors and SuperSign TVs, being able to distribute content, manage the monitors on a schedule, all of that, all for free. You can do that through a wired connection, or you can do it with a wireless connection. Speaking of a wireless connection, did I mention that this has built-in Wi-Fi? Yes, it does. So you have built-in Wi-Fi compatibility in this actual monitor. So there is no need for a USB Wi-Fi dongle because it's already built in. Although we do have monitors in our product lineup that would require to have a USB Wi-Fi dongle, but this is not one of them. It's all built in. So we have, again, 8 gigabytes of storage capacity on here. It's built-in Wi-Fi, simple network management protocol, so you're able to connect from a far distance. So much you get from these devices, monitors, I should say. Now, being able to communicate back with the monitor is great. Now, here's the great thing, and this is not something that is usual. So not only does it have built-in Wi-Fi that it's able to connect to wireless networks in different buildings and such, but let's say that that you actually would like a device to connect to the actual monitor and use the monitor for a hotspot. It does that. So it can give off an actual hotspot. And let's say if it's in, or I would just say, a lot of coffee shops, cafes and such, you have monitors in there, everyone wants to connect to Wi-Fi. Well, you can actually connect right to the actual monitor, and that's because of our soft app feature. So a lot of great different things that you find in our UH5B monitor, and of course, you're able to screen share. So anything that you have on your mobile device, that hopefully it says LG, that you're able to share that screen with the actual monitor via Miracast and also DLNA devices as well. So great things there. Now, some of the other things, I did mention that you're able to have up to 50 different monitors and supersonic TVs across the country. Well, if you have them on the time schedule, you are able to go ahead and have everything synced. It can auto sync, time sync, and also have the constant sync, no matter which time zone you're in. So we're able to have that compatibility, I should say capability, and to do what you need to do as far as your great customer environment, customer experience environment. All right, last but certainly and not least, the local content scheduling. So I've mentioned already that you're able to distribute content wirelessly and wired, and you're also able to schedule content, let's say schedule a digital signage experience right there without even having to mess with any software at all. So all you need to do, you have your USB flash drive, and you can have content on your USB flash drive, and you plug it into the actual monitor, and now you can take that content and you can schedule it on the actual monitor, and you can have it playing in whatever increments that you want, 1 minute, 2 minutes, you know, coming after a video, going before an actual template, whatever it might be, whatever it is that you want to do, you can do it. And you see a couple of templates right there, but you can schedule all of that directly from the monitor instead of messing with, you know, some just don't want to mess with any software, even if it is as simple as we have our new simple SuperSign software. But, you know, there's just a lot of great options available for you. So I know that we went over a lot of information today. We went over the LG Zero Client solution and great cloud computing, those monitors being TAA compliant. Then we went into our UH5B monitor, seeing that that is a 4K monitor, being able to have the Ultra HD, great color accuracy with the IPS panel technology, and it also saving you the power consumption, which ultimately saves you the total cost of ownership because it being an M+ panel. So a lot of great different things that we went over today with both of those products. I would like to go ahead, as I know that we're wrapping up here, but if you have any questions at all, please feel free at this time to ask a question via the chat or to ask a question by raising your hand. And I do see that, you know, some are asking, hey, well, what is your email address? We're going to share that shortly once we get to that slide, but I will go ahead and send it in the chat box right now, myself and also Dennis, as you all are queuing up your questions. So whatever questions that you might have, please go ahead and send them over right now, please. Well, as you all are figuring your questions out, please take a note of the great webinars that we have up and coming. We are doing webinars monthly, as this is our Great Solution Spotlight webinar series. Our next webinar coming up on Tuesday in December. So just about the first week, but the second week of December. And so we'll be going over our great next solution, digital signage solution in the SH7DB, and our IT monitor solution in the Chrome base, a 22-inch Chrome base, and continuing to move on. All right, let's see. What questions do we have queued up? All right. Dan, if you already answered that question, and I'm just going to go ahead and put it out to make sure that everyone could hear it, or not hear it, but they know about it. There's a question that said, how well do zero clients and thin clients integrate with the digital signage? And